All right, let's dive into something pretty wild. We're going to explore this really fascinating idea, a cosmological framework that suggests our entire reality, it's just one tiny piece of a much, much bigger cosmic puzzle. So get ready for a journey through 36 different dimensions of space.
So let's just start with the big, mind-bending question this whole theory asks us to consider. What if everything we see, everything we touch, everything we know is just one level out of 36? What if our familiar three-dimensional world is really just a single stop on some vast cosmic subway line? And this is our magic number, 36. The framework we're digging into here proposes that this is the total, 36 dimensions, and each one has its own properties, its own rules, maybe even its own inhabitants. It's a huge idea, so, we got to break it down.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with what's familiar, our own reality, and the dimensions just below it. Then we'll start climbing up, through dimensions that are all about consciousness. After that, we'll unlock some seriously strange new senses, learn to read the universe's code, and finally, we'll go beyond time and space as we know them.
First things first, we're exploring our own backyard, so to speak, and what's in the basement. See, to even begin to understand the crazier stuff up top, we have to start with the basics, the absolute foundational layers of this whole structure, leading right up to the world we all think we know so well.
So our journey starts at the very bottom, in the first dimension. It's described as a colorless space, a realm of antimatter. To us, it's totally imperceptible. But here's the twist. From the perspective of anything in that dimension, we're the ones who are blind. We're completely oblivious to this whole other world. It's like a space of pure potential, before form or color even become concept.
Okay, take a step up to the second dimension. Now we have form, but it's all in black and white, just light and shadow. The source material links this to a certain way of thinking. Simple dualities, good or bad, true or false, no room for gray areas. And you compare that to our third dimension, the mortal world, which is just bursting with color and complexity. It's called a knotless space, because in theory, any path you take, no matter how tangled it seems, can always be straightened out into a simple line.
All right, now we start climbing into a whole different kind of reality. In these next few dimensions, the rules aren't just about physical space anymore. No, here, reality itself is actually defined by your level of consciousness and perception. Welcome to the fourth dimension, also known as the karma space. Now, this isn't about moving left, right, up, down, or some other direction. It's about a new way of thinking. It's a knotted space because from here, you can see all the complicated, tangled connections behind everything. It's like seeing the entire root system of a tree, not just the branches above ground. You can actually perceive the web of cause and effect and even start to see where things are headed.
So who lives here? Well, it's not aliens or strange beings. According to this theory, it's historical figures. We're talking scientists, philosophers, leaders, artists, people who could just see the deeper patterns of the universe. They were essentially operating on a 4D level of consciousness, seeing the laws and connections that the rest of us just completely miss.
The fifth dimension is kind of like a cosmic waiting room. It's a transitional space that exists right on the edge of the material and non-material worlds. The source says this is a place for souls who are still tied to our world, maybe through some obsession or confusion, or because their death was just too sudden. They're sort of caught between worlds, not quite ready to move on.
And then you reach the sixth dimension. This is a state of being that's totally free from that struggle. People here have moved beyond material desires. They get that the 3D world is, in a way, just an illusion. They can tap right into the energy of the universe, living lives of real purpose and joy, not just necessity. Okay, if you thought that was a little out there, you should probably buckle up. Because in this next set of dimensions, the very way we perceive things gets a radical upgrade, unlocking abilities that honestly sound like they're straight out of science fiction.
So in the seventh dimension, you get the ability to literally see protons. Just imagine having built-in infrared or X-ray vision. You could look right through a wall, you could look at a person and see their actual skeleton or see the inner organs of any living creature. The whole surface of reality just becomes transparent.
And if we jump up to the eighth dimension, we hit the photon world, and wow, the transformation of perception is complete. You don't even see matter anymore. Instead, everything just appears as light and energy. A busy street wouldn't look like people and cars and buildings. It would just look like clusters of moving light, with some people, the ones who are more self-aware, shining brighter than the others.
Now, the ninth and 10th dimensions are all about developing a superpower, remote viewing. In the ninth, your consciousness can instantly see anything within the distance that light travels in 1 second. That's about 300,000 kilometers. By the 10th dimension, that power goes beyond light speed, letting you view life in completely different star systems.
So far, this has all been about new ways of seeing. Now we're moving into dimensions where you don't just see reality, you can perceive the fundamental information, the invisible laws that actually build it. It's like learning to read the universe's source code.
In the 11th and 12th dimensions, our whole concept of big and small just completely shatters. In the molecule world, you could look at a single drop of blood and understand the entire essence of the person it came from. And then you take it a step further into the micro world, and a single nanometer, that's a billionth of a meter, becomes this vast landscape. You could literally build a village on a single grain of sand.
Next up is the 13th dimension, the law world. And here, you stop seeing matter altogether. Instead, you start seeing the code behind the matter. You perceive the flow of all these invisible energies, magnetic fields, a person's life force, the principles of feng shui, all the forces that are secretly shaping and directing our physical world.
And this leads us to a really wild idea in the 14th dimension, which is captured perfectly by this quote from the source. This dimension is the detention information space, and it's built on the idea that every object acts like a piece of photographic film, just recording everything that happens around it. So someone in this dimension could look at a room and see a perfect replay of a crime that happened there 10 years ago, just by reading the information stored in the walls themselves. And now we're heading into the final stretch of the first half of our journey. This is where the fundamental rules that govern our very existence, I'm talking about time and space, they stop being rules and just become suggestions. They become completely fluid. In the 15th dimension, you totally break free from linear time. You can view any moment in the past or the future as easily as we flip through the pages of a book. Then, in the 16th dimension, your sense of space completely flips. You start seeing the universe on a macro scale, where our entire solar system just looks like a single molecule, and our sun is its nucleus.
The 17th dimension takes this concept and kicks it up a notch. It's not just about viewing time anymore, it's about physically traveling through it. Time is no longer a river that you're floating down, it's a fixed axis, a time tunnel. Just like you see here, you can pick any point on this timeline, go see the dinosaurs, or visit a distant biorobot future, and actually go there and experience it.
And finally, we arrive at the 18th dimension, the space tunnel. This is it. This is the grand central station of the entire cosmos. It's the network, the passage, that connects all 36 dimensions, allowing you to travel between any of these incredibly different worlds. It is the ultimate hub for reality itself.
So we've just journeyed through 18 truly mind-bending dimensions. But here's the final twist from the source material. It claims that these first 18 dimensions are, at least in theory, reachable by us through spiritual or conscious development. But the next 18, those are spaces that science can never access, which leaves us with one last, pretty big question. If this is what the lower half of reality looks like, what in the world could possibly be waiting in the dimensions beyond?